Welcome in, everybody. I'm Jen Frederick. Happy Friday to you. We will be live with you for the next 2 hours. This is Philadelphia Live. You're going to see anything and everything live that we have. What you see are a couple of cameras around the country. Next to me on the top, that is a gentleman that's talking about the March on Washington. It is an event that will happen in Washington, D.C. Several people have gathered there to kind of get it hyped up and tell people what they might expect. It is one of the places we will take you live during the next 2 hours. Below that, the Tupac Shakur murder trial is still happening. It's happening in Las Vegas. And remember, Duane Keffe D. Davis is on trial. Now, prosecutors do not believe he is the trigger man in this case. What they are alleging is that Duane Keffe D. Davis, back in 1996, so a long time ago, was in the car when there was a shooting and when Tupac was killed. Prosecutors believe he is the guy, Duane is the guy who purchased the gun and ordered the hit. They believe that Duane Keffe D. Davis did that because there was an altercation in Las Vegas with his nephew shortly before the shooting. The other thing that we're looking at is NASA. The President of the United States is going to be in Florida, and he's expected to congratulate the recent astronauts. You see some of them right there kind of waiting for the president. So as we wait for all of that, we are going to go back to Washington, where they are talking about the March on Washington.
When we put people first, it means our health care is first. Nobody going bankrupt because they got sick. When we put people first, it means put our homes first. Because in the richest nation on the earth, working people should be able to afford a roof over their heads. Putting people first means people come first. Good jobs, safe and affordable food, clean water, neighborhoods that aren't forgotten, the people, not the billionaires. How do we make them put us first? We must put us first. The same way people have always made this nation live up to its promise. The way they did it in Montgomery, the way they did it in Greensboro, the way they did it on the bridge in Selma. When the powerful forgot who really holds the power, we use it, we strategize, we organize, and say we vote. We'll vote this fall like our schools depend on it, because they do. We'll vote this fall like our health care depends on it, because it does. Our democracy depends on it, because it does. And when we ask what got us into this, tell them, remember who we are. When they ask who sent us, tell them the people did. When someone asks what they can do to save this democracy, tell them to vote, to vote, to vote. The ballot is our path to make America great. It's ever been. We must affirm today that we will never go back. It's time for a living wage bill. It's time for an affordable housing strategy. It's time to repeal and replace the big ugly bill. It's time to send the SAVE Act to the graveyard. It's time for us to stand up for an agenda for the American people, and we will not go back. Join me in saying we are here to defend the vote. Say defend the vote. We are here to defend the vote, and let us affirm that we will fight, and we will fight, and we will fight until hell freezes over, and then we'll fight on the ice. God bless you.
Let us now welcome Melanie L. Campbell, President and CEO of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, National Convener of the Black Women's Roundtable.
Today, we gather to celebrate the 63rd anniversary of the March on Washington, calling for jobs and freedom. Today, we are here to defend the vote. So what does defend the vote mean? Defending the vote means voting rights for all. Repeat after me. Voting rights for all. Justice for all. No unjust wars. Defending the vote means liberation. Say liberation. Defending the vote means public education for all. Defending the vote means workers' rights, women's rights, LGBTQ rights, Defending the vote means diversity, equity, and inclusion for all. And lastly, I just stopped by to tell the racist white nationalists, we built this country. We will not be erased. We ain't going nowhere. God is on our side. Power of the ballot. Say it with me. Power of the ballot. Say it with the ballot. Power of the ballot. Power of the ballot. We will remember in November who was with us and who was against us. Power to the people.
Let us now welcome the Honorable Yvette D. Clarke, Delegation Chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, United States Representative of the New York 9th Congressional District.
So again, the Defend the Vote March on Washington, that's what they're talking about. They're between speakers right now, so we will go back to them in just a few minutes. Here at home, I'm happy to say that I am willing to give one Drew Anderson a B+, maybe a B++ for the weather weekend, the weekend in the weather. Good afternoon.
Oh, Jen, you are such a hard grader. I'm
B++.
the easiest grader at Penn State. You want an easy A? I get you an A. Come on, can we push that up? I don't ever want you grading my homeworks, all right? I'm just putting it out there.
Wait,
With that said,
stop.
Jen's not wrong.
What I saw was the outline of the assignment. If you'd like to deliver the full report, I will grade it accordingly once I've seen the full report.
Okay, so there will be regrades here from Professor Frederick. Understood. I will say Jen's not wrong on the grade because, oh, I'm sweating. See the sweat coming down? It's a little humid on a Friday, and we're staying humid here. And who says you need to go down the shore to be on the water? Look at the beautiful Christina River. We are live in Wilmington. That's Wilmington right over there. And look at this beautiful riverfront walk. These guys were getting, instead of their steps in, they were getting their ride in, enjoying some fresh air to cool off. And then you guys said, are we on the news? Oh, yeah. You guys are on the news. Yeah. Give me the lay of the land. What's it like driving one of these things down the riverfront?
It's great. It's really kind of tiring, but really fun.
What's tiring about it? Because that looks pretty easy to me.
Just the constant pedals.
Oh, I got you. So you guys don't like work. When we going back to school?
We love work, but it's just harder. We also have a lot of weight on the bike to intake.
I hear you. So this is your last hurrah. Beautiful weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Beautiful day. What's been your favorite part about the Riverwalk so far? Or just the day in general?
The scene and the historic things.
Yeah, I learned last hour that these are a leftover from World War II. They used to make a lot of ships in Wilmington, and they preserve this as history, so you get a little history when you hit the boards. Guys, any weekend plans? It's a nice weekend.
Just football. Me and him have football.
Yeah. Football?
We play each other Sunday.
Good luck. Who's going to win?
Us.
Oh, okay.
No,
and you have fun down the beach if you go. Enjoy it. And I like this. I came up. They're painting. They're always doing progress here in Delaware. Great to meet all you guys. I'll let you go back and go for a ride. You know what's cool around the waterfront here? First of all, just beautiful blue skies overlooking this area. They got things to do. We were just live for Good Day Uncut right in that yellow building, the Delaware's Children's Museum. Then they have places for food. I heard this family. What are we doing for lunch? I just heard you guys talking about lunch. What are you having?
Quesadillas.
Oh, do these guys like quesadillas?
Oh, yeah, they do. Anything with cheese.
I hear you on that one. I love some cheese.
And Mom and Mum like margaritas, so it's a win-win.
Hey, there you go. Oh, you must be going to that taco place.
Yes, yeah.
Guys, I'm thirsty. Can I have a little sip of that? Is that all right?
Jamie, can you have some of your wine?
Can I have just a little sip? I'm hot. It's hot and humid. All right. Let me just have a little sip here. Oh, now I understand. It's hard for kids to smell this thing.
Leak-proof.
I just got a couple drips.
Stop
like
it.
that you have
Stop
ice cubes
it,
in here to
Drew.
keep everyone cool.
That is the kids' water.
What? I didn't put my lips on it.
You can drive your car.
Oh,
Go get
I
your
had
own water.
I was told I have to give it back. I can go get my own water. I'm sorry. Look, that offended him. He turned away from me. Hey, I see these guys. I have a feeling they like cars. I mean, I'm just looking at this. I'm looking at that. Do you like cars?
Oh. Say yeah.
He was like, give me back
You
my
like
water,
cars?
and you're not getting it back.
Say yeah.
Look at the car stickers.
Oh,
Are they
yeah.
playing with cars at home?
Oh yeah, all the time. They just turned 1 and 2 this month, and cars are their favorite toys.
That's the way to go. All right, water overboard, but
I
didn't
know.
spill. I'll let you guys get back to just enjoying the day, sitting and relaxing. Let's talk about the weekend weather. So it's humid. You saw me steal that young man's water. Just trying to cool off a little bit. You see the sweat on my forehead. We're staying humid the rest of the day, and there'll be some storms that'll pop up on the way. Nothing like yesterday, okay, but a few of the storms will have some heavy rain. We're not so worried about flash flooding today like yesterday. On future clouds and future radar, 2 o'clock, some storms starting to blossom across parts of New Jersey. And you'll see some more pop-up storms as we roll right through the afternoon. I'll take you into the afternoon. There's the picture of 5 o'clock. A lot of the storms that fire off will be in New Jersey today, and a few will pop up in Delaware. We'll stay on the dry side in Pennsylvania. Then as the night goes on, we'll work on that humidity. It's not going away completely this weekend, but it'll come down from today, which is a big improvement. Oh, did you see this on future clouds and future radar? No green. It's all about that sun for the weekend. So let's get your weekend forecast. It's a good one. We got sunny skies both Saturday and Sunday. We're keeping it dry with temps in the mid-80s, and that is exactly where we usually are this time of the year. And I'll tell you what, you know what's so funny during weather? That family's like, we're out. We're going to get the margaritas. We're going to get the quesadillas. They're gone and not off into the sunset, just off into the blue skies. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to hit the trails right here along the Christina River. I wouldn't do mini golf because, Jen, I know you're good at golfing, but I am the worst at mini golf. Something that would take people 3 tries takes me like 12. You are? Can you teach me?
I can
I need
teach you. I
coaching,
do
Jen.
have short game ADHD. Like right when I get to putting, I'm like, "Aww." But mini
Yeah.
golf, I can finesse it. Now listen, I wasn't upset that you were drinking the kids' drink. I felt like you have a car, you have money, you can
I
go
stole
get your
it?
own drink. That little guy, he's stuck there with his mom.
I was thirsty.
Now listen,
He didn't mind, but he held on to it then. And by the way, Professor Frederick, we still had a B+ on the weekend weather?
yeah, because you admitted you had a B+. You the bad student who's
Okay.
like, I did skip class, so I guess I get an F. You admitted it was a B+. It is a B+ because from 2 to 5:30
It's
right
humid.
there today is margarita time. No one wants, thank you, no one wants to be rained on. We did the rain. We did that yesterday.
We sure did, Jen. We sure did. Oh, look at this. Here's that family coming back from earlier. Remember we talked to those kids? They got the 2 rival football guys. Good to see you guys back. Hey, you got any room for me? I'm getting a little tired here on the boards. Uh-oh. No seats for me, Jen. I can sit. Actually, can I sit up there? Can I jump on the front? I'm hopping on. Oh, wait. You know what? I don't fit in that.
Drew,
That's for a little kid.
Drew,
Thank you, guys.
Drew.
What? What? I'm
You're
living my
being
best
naughty.
life.
You're being naughty out there. That's for little kids that have a car seat.
That's what I
in
do
there.
best.
Wait, are you joining us
I'm
again?
a little kid, right? Can't you tell?
I can. What's your story? Are you going to come back to the TV station, or are you staying
Yeah.
there until 2?
Well, I'd love to be with the dogs and stay on the boards, but I'm doing weather all tonight. And by the way, right over there is a mini Reading terminal. It's really great. If you've never been to the Riverfront Market, it's pretty cool right here on the boards. I'm going to grab lunch, and then I'm going to head to the station. I'll see you back in Philadelphia next hour.
Okay, I love it. Drive safe. Get your own water.
Thank you. Okay, all right. I got one in the car, all right? It's
Okay.
going to be a little hot now, though. It's
All right.
heating up.
Okay. Let's take a look at the weather, because he didn't really mention the places that I would like to be. I think we have a quad box, or we have some kind of weather. Look at that. That is Wildwood. That is where you want to be. Summer is not over. There is a full week of summer coming your way. I know that Philadelphia school kids had to go back to school this Monday. Some other kids go back the following Monday. My kid doesn't go back until, I don't know, October. Look at that. That is Cape May Beach. It is beautiful. It is gorgeous. The weather is perfect. Drew did ruin your afternoon, so you might want to get there to the beach now. And then, maybe take it inside 2 to 5. Yes! I want everyone to focus. We're between sessions. You know that, Steve. We know that some of the sessions start at like 12:30 or whatever. That is Island Sports Water Park. That is the Stone Harbor location. I think we only have now until a week from today left there. Thank you. So we are going to make sure that kids are having fun there because, again, summer's not over. It's super fun. All right. I do believe we have Chris O'Connell. Do we have Chris O'Connell? We do have Chris. Chris is top. Chris, would it surprise you? I know we're bringing the bike ride back, the Manayunk Wall, the whole thing. Would it surprise you that about 10 years ago I participated in this event?
Did you do the amateur race on Saturday?
Nope, they had it where you could go in the it was on Saturday. I did the amateur race and then the pros went on Sunday.
Yeah, well, lucky you. You might be able to do it again now, 10 years later. You hear the party behind me. Some of those cyclists are going to be on that course just getting done a press conference here. Yeah, Jen, you know, we have Lincoln Financial Field. We know Citizens Bank Park. But are all of you familiar with the Manayunk Wall? That is one of the biggest obstacles in one of the most challenging bicycle courses for the international circuit, at least here in the United States, and it's all coming back with the Philadelphia Cycling Classic on Sunday. Take a look behind me. We say, oh, first of all, Kim, thank you so much. We have one of the cyclists right here, Philadelphia's own. Tell people your name and where you're from.
Hi, I'm from Kim Stovall, and I'm from, I live in Philadelphia, a few miles from here by the Art Museum.
Tell us about this course. You know the history of this course. What does it mean to a Philadelphian to ride this course, especially for the first time in 10 years and bringing this thing back?
Yeah, I'm incredibly grateful to be both a citizen here and a cyclist here in Philadelphia. We have such a great community here of cyclists and cycling fans. And so to be able to race this on my own home field advantage with a lot of Philadelphia cycling fans is just so incredible. Just happy to be here.
Talk about this course and how challenging it is. This is an internationally ranked course.
Yeah, so the course is super challenging. You have the Giant Hill Manayunk Wall with 17% grade in downtown Manayunk, but then you have a couple of other rollers through Fairmount Park and also Lemon Hill that can also break up the course. And then you think it might be easy down Kelly, but that headwind can be quite relentless and hard as well. So there's really no easy place to be on the course. And if the course isn't challenging enough, the teams that are here, the World Tour level teams that are here, will make it even more hard for us.
Sunday morning, you start at 8:30, correct?
Yeah, we start at 8:30, bright and early.
And that's at the Aikens Oval, starts at the Art Museum, goes up to Kelly Drive, is the Schuylkill, of course the Manayunk Wall, and back. What is the best vantage point for someone who wants to see this race?
Honestly, you can't go wrong with any of the locations. Lemon Hill is going to be amazing. A lot of the local Fairmount people will be there. In Manayunk, you also can't go wrong with that. Up the wall and through the businesses in downtown Main Street, they'll have beer flowing, breakfast specials, lunch specials that are there. Anyone you run into will also be a cycling fan and will welcome you with open arms. So it's just anywhere is a great place to be.
And there's a Fan Fest tomorrow as well, right? Right near Lemon Hill, Aikens Oval?
Yeah, Fan Fest is great for some of the younger up-and-coming cycling fans. They'll have lots of kid-friendly stuff. And then it's a great place to see the start and finish.
So Philadelphia Cycling Classic is back. How happy are you? And what's it like for the cycling community to have this race back in Philly?
It's super incredible. It's been a long time coming. It's been 10 years of just waiting for it to come back, and everyone's been prepping and ready for it. So a decade in the making, and we can't be happier.
Kim, good luck. Congratulations. The hometown girl, you're Jen, if you're rooting for someone, once again, great to be back. Manayunk's going to be hopping this weekend.
I can tell you, Chris, that when I did my race, I trained for the wall. I did not train for the distance that it really is from Aikens Oval out to Manayunk. That's quite a distance. And I did not train for the down and up at Lemon Hill, because that's also a bit of a challenge. We know this because we walked it when they had Fan Fest for FIFA, but it's almost like a double hill when you do it. So I recommend, Chris, you get on your bike tomorrow and you try out the route so you understand how hard it is.
Well, I tell you now, we're going to Manayunk right now, and I am going to try that 17% grade on the Manayunk Wall. I don't know if I could do it, but I'm sure as heck going to try.
Low gear, put it in low gear, you'll be fine.
Yep. Or walk.
Or
I didn't say I'd ride it, I'd maybe walk it.
Oh, okay, Chris. Happy Friday.
All right.
All right, it is a big event, and everyone's really excited that it's coming back. A signature event, again, on Sunday. If you're around, you should check it out. One of the things that we are watching right now, we're watching a couple of different things. The president is expected to meet with some astronauts right there in Florida. We are told that the president is ready to come any moment now. The other thing that we're watching is the defense in the Tupac Shakur trial. You see it there. This is Las Vegas. Remember, Dwayne Keefe Davis is on trial. Prosecutors do not say he pulled the trigger. They say he ordered the hit, bought the gun. As we wait for the president, we're going to listen into this trial.
It cannot be involuntary because it is a negotiated contract between two people. So the only statement this could apply to would be the 2009 statement. And when you listen to the 2009 statement, it's clear there's not a single improper coercive conduct by Detective Long. Now, had the defendant got on the stand and said, hey, they beat me with rubber hoses before I went in the room, or hey, the cops told me this, or the cops told me that, or the cops told me this. The evidence before this jury is he was caught with PCP and a gallon of PCP and a kilo of cocaine. They told me I could be prosecuted for that, or I could give a statement. I negotiated a contract with my lawyer, with the government, to go in and give them a statement. By its very definition, it cannot be involuntary. And so, if you instruct a jury on this, particularly the instructions they're requesting, it would be highly, highly confusing to the jury, and it's not an issue in the trial because they've brought zero evidence of coercion, improper police coercion, into this case. And because of that, I would say they're not entitled to a voluntariness instruction.
In reviewing the instructions that are proffered in this conduct,
can I approach to give you the two cases, Carlson and Morrison?
You may. My initial concern in reviewing what you have stated before I even get to the threshold matter of whether you've met, well, first I have to decide the threshold matter, but if we were to give an instruction, all instructions say that ultimately if a jury concludes that the confession or admission was not made voluntarily, then it's up to the jury to determine whether they should consider it. However, none of the three instructions give any insight to the jury as to how they would determine voluntariness. As a judge, when there's this motion to suppress brought up before me, in general, I have factors to consider. The jury would have none of those in the proposed instructions, and so it would be giving them a task that they have no way of accomplishing, essentially, is what is in front of me.
And what the defense is submitting in the Carlson case, they had an instruction that the Nevada Supreme Court ruled was sufficient in that case, and that is in the state's first proposed exhibit. And they actually gave the footnoted instruction of the fact that the court has admitted into evidence the alleged confession or admission of a defendant does not bind the jury to accept the court's conclusion, and the jury, before it may take a confession or admission into consideration, must for itself find whether or not it was voluntary confession or admission. If the jury concludes that a confession or admission was not made voluntarily, it is the duty of the jury to entirely disregard the same and not consider it for any purpose. That is directly from the Carlson case.
They're saying voluntary carries a clear meaning without need for further definition or explanation.
That was going to be my very next argument, Your Honor. And they did say that it was error if the court did not give that instruction. And what they talked about was, and this is going to be something that's a theme running through all of our objections, there is a difference between admissibility and the question of fact that the jury now needs to decide. So here, Mr. DiGiacomo is absolutely correct that you have the initial determination of admissibility. You have ruled that it was voluntary. This will be an issue on appeal. This will be something that will be brought up by the defense should Mr. Davis get convicted. However, you also then are required by the Nevada Supreme Court to instruct the jury based upon their role now, which is determining whether or not there is evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. To me, that is how I read these Nevada Supreme Court cases, that you need to give these instructions. I do see the court and Mr. DiGiacomo's concerns. It is the defense position that we'd rather have all of the instructions given as opposed to just the states. So I think it's better to instruct the jury than to not about all of the applicable rules. But I do think, and this will become even more important in the next argument about corpus delicti, I think that we do not need to instruct the jury on questions of admissibility. I do not want them to be confused about the proper standard that they need to decide, which is proof beyond a reasonable doubt. At this stage, it's a question of fact for the jury.
So let's work backwards then. Where in this record do we have evidence of improper police coercion, where we don't have, we have a statement that was given in the presence of police, or in the presence of his attorney that he brought there. We don't have any of the typical PASAMA factors present of, you know, someone who's very young, someone who's very hungry, someone who's very tired, someone who's very susceptible to police coercion because of their lack of familiarity with the criminal justice system. We have none of those factors present here. Additionally, we have a defendant.
Would disagree.
But hang on a minute, and we also have someone who has not testified to explain a circumstance outside of those. Outside of what is actually within the videos, and then ultimately no evidence that well, apparently it would be difficult to know what to apply to this situation, but what is the, I guess, improper police coercion here?
Well, the defense, we all should not be arguing.
So again, what you're looking at is a courtroom in Las Vegas where the defense and the prosecution are talking with the judge in advance of the judge giving the jury, in this case, her instructions. They're talking about different things they want to suppress and different instructions. Again, this is Tupac Shakur murder case. Dwayne Keefe D. Davis is being tried for being the trigger man and being the person who ordered the hit. It is not the only trial that we are watching at this hour. As you may know, Lindsay Clancy, the jury has the case. This is a courthouse. That's a live picture. The jury is deliberating in the Lindsay Clancy case. Lindsay Clancy, mother of 3, former labor and delivery nurse, admits that she killed her children. She will also say that she does not think she should be held criminally responsible for that. The jury has had the case for almost a full day. It's a Friday. Many people are waiting to see when this decision will be met. The other thing we're doing, we are waiting for President Trump to meet with some astronauts, and we have some stuff that's happening locally. So we are going to take a quick 2-minute break, and we'll be right back. sometimes we just show you really cool live things that are happening right here. Think about this, the corner of Midvale and River Road in East Falls. There will now be a really cool mural. Drew Montemayor is there actually doing the mural. Drew, hello. Thanks for letting us visit while you are working.
You got it. Thanks for paying me a visit as well.
So basically, you're going to do 5 fish-themed street murals inspired by species that we see in the Schuylkill River?
Correct. Yeah, there's been other art installations erected for the 5 fishes. So it's been kind of like a community historical component of the neighborhood here in East Falls. So yeah, we're just paying some tribute to that. And right here, what I'm doing is I'm kind of outlining them and then going to, create some space so the children or the youth and the kids can come in and use some chalk and add some color.
I love it. All right, let's watch you. I am the least artistic person in the United States of America. That's actually on my bio. No, it's true. Are you painting with special paint that is okay for people to drive over and step over?
Yeah, that's a good question. So what I'm using here is called Pro Park. It's normally what like all the, street authority people use for, lines in the street, stuff like that. But like most things, you can even see with that, it doesn't last forever. So it's a symbol of, this is a moment in time. So, but it will last longer than if you're just using any basic acrylic paint. So.
All right. We want to see you paint while you talk. Sorry to make you do two things at once.
Oh, it's all right. I can multitask.
Did you get to pick the species or was it picked for you?
So yeah, it was kind of chosen for me only because, like I said, this has kind of been a traditional, tribute to these particular fish in the neighborhood. But if you guys check out the t-shirt graphic we made, I did take a catfish and I added some personality to the actual catfish of the 5 fishes, and we have him riding a bike. So it's pretty cool and fun for the kids. So
I love that. Is this the most unique mural location you've done?
That's a good question. I've done street murals in the past. During 2020, there was, Black Lives Matter murals, and I partnered with a friend of mine, and we worked on a few in Norristown, a couple different places in the city. But recently, I just did a mural with the police department, 39th District, and the Cristo Rey high school students here in Philly. So that stuff's fun because it's just a unique experience, working within the community. So, not just application, but just who I'm working with.
How long will it take for you to complete that mural, what you're doing right now?
I always underestimate, like most people. And then you obviously have lots of uncontrolled situations going on. But I'm going to try my best to get things done by 4 or 5 today. But I will also be here on Sunday with the kids, having fun, being a big kid myself. But I'll be painting here and there, too, if I need touch-ups. And we'll just make it work. That's what we do,
All right. Well, I don't know how long your camera person is staying out there. If they're out there until 2 o'clock, maybe we'll see how far you get in a little bit.
That sounds good.
All
Great.
Right. Thanks for letting us visit. We appreciate it.
Yeah, great questions. Thanks for popping in.
Okay. Thank you. We told you that the president was going to be speaking to some astronauts. It is happening. We're going to take you to Florida live now.
Good, and he's smart, and he loves what he's doing right here. This is something special, right, Ted? Also, another great warrior and friend of mine, Brian Babin, representative, congressman, does a fantastic job. Thank you, Brian. And Jake Elzy. Jake, thank you. What a group we have here, huh? Lieutenant Governor, a friend of mine. I mean, I shouldn't get political, so I won't, but I will tell you, from 2015, everyone thinks I ran in 20, I actually announced in 2015, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick called up. He said, I want to be the chairman of your campaign in Texas, and you've never left, right? And we won it in record votes. Nobody came close. And I just want to thank you for that. You were a fantastic chairman. We didn't even have to speak too much. It was sort of good. And that's what we have to do in a little while in the election coming up. So important. Texas Controller Don Huffines. Congratulations, Don. That was a great win you had. Congratulations. We watched that very closely. Great job. And of course, we're honored to be joined by amazing members of the NASA Astronaut Corps, past and present. They are amazing indeed, and thank you for all you do and risking your lives to advance our voyage into the heavens. It's where you go to the heavens. And I understand this weekend that NASA has a very big launch coming up, the Roman Space Telescope. I was asking Jared, is that a big one? He said, it's really big. So I hope everyone that's watching, look at all the media back there, all the press. I hope you're going to inform people because this is going to be a very big deal. It's hundreds of times more powerful than Hubble, and it will help unlock the secrets of the universe. So to everyone involved here at NASA, good luck this weekend. It's a big deal. And I was given a little briefing. I said, I want to know about this if it's so big. And it really is something hundreds of times more powerful than Hubble. That's all you have to know. From the very beginning, America has always been a frontier nation, and space is the highest of all the frontiers. Our manifest destiny is to explore and settle this great unknown, carry forward the light of American liberty into the stars. And Americans were the first in flight, the first in the moon, and will certainly be the first in space no matter where it is. And I know we're going to be looking at Mars very shortly. In fact, you're already partially there. A lot of work's been done, and that seems to be the next frontier. You'll be stopping on the moon, and you're going to be going to Mars. What excitement, what excitement. Yet when I took office in 2017, America's endeavors in space had come to a complete halt. It was held back by decades of gross mismanagement in Washington. You had Peter, well, maybe they didn't like it. Maybe they didn't like the concept. I don't know, but it was certainly not anything. It was very embarrassing, actually, what had happened. Not only had the United States lost its ability to send our astronauts to the moon, but under a number of administrations, I have to tell you, but in particular the Obama administration, we even lost our ability to send astronauts into orbit at all. We had no ability in space whatsoever. We totally lost it with everything we spent, with all of the talent and all of the genius and all of the money. We had nothing. And when I got here, I came here, I went to Florida, I visited a couple of the places. I wanted to see what was going on. NASA was closed, absolutely closed. There was almost nobody there. It was like an empty building, not a good look. And I went down, I looked at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. In particular, I saw something that you rarely see. They had grass growing out of the cracks in the runway. You had a runway that was all broken up. It was all bad. I know all about that from being very good at construction. You had the cracks in the runway. We had grass growing out of the cracks. It's almost hard to do. And I said, boy, this is sad. It was very sad. That's where we started. Yet as the world can see today under the Trump administration, we have brought back America's space program and came out of the dark age, and it's now into the golden age. This is the golden age of America, and this is a big part of it. So to every astronaut here today, I want to make this promise to you. Our nation will conquer, and we will conquer indeed this vast frontier that we have before us, and we'll reach American courage, and we'll use American genius and daring and all of the things that we have that nobody else can ever compete with. We will explore it, we will tame it, and we will win it. We will always win. In 2016, the United States of America and our government, private sector, launched just 22 rockets into orbit combined. So we did 22. And last year we conducted nearly 200 orbital launches, and that number will continue to grow very, very rapidly. As you probably know, you know every one of them that's getting ready. There are a lot of them. By embracing competition in the private sector, we freed up NASA to focus on what it does best, leading the cutting edge of exploration and human space flight. In my first term, I signed the orders creating the Artemis program and officially directed NASA to return American astronauts to the moon and then push onward to Mars. And that's exactly what we're doing. And we had a little interlude of 4 years, but somehow it was limping along. It was okay. It was limping along. And now I'm back. And we're doing more than limping. We don't limp. 8 years later, these dreams are really coming through at a level that nobody ever imagined. Nobody imagined what is happening now. And even more importantly, what space has done for our military in terms of offensive and defensive capability is incredible. Don't forget, I was the one that gave you Space Force, and we had no Space Force. And when people heard about it, they thought we were kidding. If they thought it was like comic book stuff, it wasn't at all. It's turning out to be one of our most important branches. It'll be and only getting more important with time. And we were number 3 in space at the time I did that, and now we're leading by a tremendous amount. We made some very good original initial hires. We put some people in charge that were really outstanding, and they did it right from the beginning. On July 4th of this year, I presented a veteran of the last mission to the moon, Apollo 17 astronaut Jack Schmitt, with a very special American flag that flew over the United States Capitol on our nation's 250th birthday. Very, very special.
So again, this is President Donald Trump. He is there to give the Congressional Medal of Honor to some of the astronauts. He's talking about a couple of things that he is proud of in his administration. We are also waiting for a verdict in the Lindsay Clancy trial. We do have Kaylee Schuyler right there. We're going to be with her in about 2 minutes. Again, that is in Massachusetts. Here at home, a little bit of weather. Unfortunately, rain is in the forecast for later today. You see the shore already getting a bit dark. We're going to talk about weather, the trial, and so much more in 2 minutes. The case of Lindsay Clancy and the death of her 3 children is a story that everyone has been following on TikTok, in the news, all over the place. And now the jury does have the case. They are deliberating. We do have Kaylee Schuyler for us live in Massachusetts. Good afternoon to you.
Hey, good afternoon, Jen.
So I understand the jury did ask a question this morning.
Yeah, so it was about 3 hours ago now. The jury sent in a note to the judge, and at first we didn't know exactly what was happening. We just saw the attorneys head back into the courtroom, and then the judge and attorneys went to a sidebar. They chatted for a little bit, and then we didn't hear anything. But then about 20 minutes later, defense attorney Kevin Reddington came out of the courthouse, and he said the jurors wanted to see exhibits. They wanted to look at 2 bags of pills and a knife. And so as of this point, they've been deliberating for about 6.5 hours now. The jurors who are deliberating consist of 9 women and 3 men. They've heard from over 85 witnesses, and they will ultimately have to decide what they believe was going through Lindsay Clancy's mind the night that she killed her children. And they heard 2 very different stories during closing arguments yesterday. Clancy's defense attorney, Kevin Reddington, says she was suffering mentally for months and tried to get help. He says she received lousy medical care, and ultimately, when the system failed her, a voice commanded her to kill her children and herself, and she didn't have control of her actions.
This young lady did nothing wrong in her life. She was a nurse, a daughter, a wife, and a darn good mother.
Prosecutor Jennifer Sprague says Clancy had more access to care than most, and she would mislead her healthcare providers. She argued that the evidence shows that Clancy methodically planned the murders and that she's making up the story of auditory hallucinations that commanded her to kill her children.
She could have killed herself and left her kids alive, but it was a choice to take them with her. It was a horrible choice. And it's a choice that we don't want to think about that a mother could make, because that doesn't make us feel safe or comfortable in this world.
The possible outcomes the jurors can decide between for Clancy's fate are not guilty due to a lack of criminal responsibility, first-degree murder, second-degree murder, and a lesser charge of manslaughter. Now, legal experts say a not guilty verdict is pretty unlikely since Clancy has confessed to killing her children, and she could face anywhere from life in prison to being committed to a state mental health facility indefinitely. Jen?
So it is a Friday. These jurors have been there for quite some time. Is there any chance that we would get a verdict today?
Yeah, you know, your guess is as good as mine, and even defense attorney Kevin Reddington said that this morning. He says, who knows? But he says he is pretty positive we all kind of want a verdict today, and he's sure that the jurors would like to reach a verdict at this point too. But of course, they're doing their work. We saw them send the note. They want to, you know, look at some of this evidence. They have 5 weeks, of info to go through. And I want to mention something that's interesting. So our legal team actually went through and looked at some cases that are similar to look at the verdicts and how long the jurors deliberated. Now, this doesn't mean anything to the verdict in this trial, but there's a case of Andrea Yates from 2002, and she was accused of drowning her 5 children. She was found guilty. Her defense was arguing insanity, and the jury there deliberated for less than 4 hours. But what's interesting here is that an appeals court later overturned that conviction and then granted her a new trial in 2006. And then in that one, she was found not guilty by reason of insanity, and the jury returned with a verdict in that one in 13 hours.
And then do we know if the jury is going to be sequestered over the weekend as they continue their deliberations?
We haven't heard any indication of that just yet. Of course, throughout this trial, they have not been sequestered. They've been going home to their families. Of course, they've been instructed not to read anything about the case or watch any media coverage, of course. But it will be interesting to see if that happens today, because, of course, they won't be deliberating over the weekend.
So, and you'll forgive me, it's 6 hours total with the deliberation hours yesterday and the deliberation hours this morning? Or have they been deliberating more than 6?
3.5.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it was about 3.5 hours yesterday, and then they started around 9:15 this morning. So at this point, it's been about 6.5 hours. We're going on 7.
And
total.
Just one last thing. Are there people outside? I know this case has, let's face it, you go on TikTok, you go on Instagram, you go on any kind of newspaper. Are there people out there waiting like we saw in other big trials?
It's actually not as crazy as I think we all anticipated it would be, considering last week we saw those hundreds of people come out wearing pink that said they were supporting Clancy and trying to raise awareness for postpartum mental health. Now, of course, as you would expect, Jen, it is a media circus out here, but we're not seeing a lot of people gathering. And even the line to get into the courthouse this morning was shorter than we've seen in a pretty long time. But there are people here and there that are coming out wanting to see what's going on. And of course, there's a handful of people who are waiting to see.
Katie, Kaylee, Schuyler, you have done a great job. I say it every time. Your team is great. You're great. We appreciate the help.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Jen.
Okay. Again, let's take a look at those charges, because there are a lot of them, and so the jury has quite a few different decisions that they can make. If you look at that right there, so not guilty, she mentioned that. Many people don't believe that that is what's going to happen, in part because she did admit to killing her children, and this would be an outcome of no punishment. Not guilty due to lack of criminal responsibility. When you see that outcome, potential civil confinement, meaning she would be held in some type of a hospital setting. Guilty of first-degree murder, life without parole. The second-degree murder, she would have a possibility of parole. And then finally, guilty of manslaughter. She could serve up to 20 years in prison. Another thing that legal experts are saying, that one might be unlikely as well, because killing without intent to cause harm, it's a very polarizing situation when you think about that children were involved. But again, 9 women, 3 men on this jury. All of them have heard from more than 80 witnesses. We are going to go real quickly back to the president. The president is speaking with some astronauts. He is going to go award them a medal. So we're just going to dip in.
Seen by human eyes and returned to Earth at 30 times the speed of sound and splashed down in the Pacific Ocean, completing the flawless mission. It was absolutely flawless. Artemis II was led by a Navy veteran, a pilot, a father, and a great patriot, Commander Reed Wiseman. With unfailing strength and calm, Reed led the crew through every phase of the flight and their safe return to Earth. He was a great leader, respected by everybody, As many people will remember, during the mission, the crew named a previously unnamed lunar crater in loving memory of Reed's wonderful wife, who he lost to cancer. So they call it the Carroll Crater. So that's making Reed a little weepy right now, because I heard she was an incredible woman. Will never be forgotten now. She'll never be forgotten. We honor her. And truly, the memory is all about the moon. That's a great one. I wish they'd name something like that after me, Reed, but I don't know. I'll have to get the governor's approval. I like that. That's beautiful. So, Reed, we salute you. We salute your family. And we congratulate you. Thank you very much. And today we also honor a distinguished naval aviator with an outstanding record as a test pilot. He served in 24 combat missions for our country before taking on the most dangerous mission of all, Pilot Victor Glover. Victor led guidance, navigation, and control operations with perfect skill and absolute total precision. And you have to have great precision or things will not go well. And he did it with the heart and the faith that brought out the best in this incredible team before the spacecraft passed behind the moon and lost communication. And they did. I was watching. There was absolutely none. I said, what's going on? But they lost total communication with Earth for a fairly extended period of time. Victor turned to prayer and reminded us all of God's love for all of his children. And Victor, thank you very much and congratulations. It's incredible. Great story. We also, thank you. We also recognize mission specialist Christina Cook, who before this flight had already set a world record for the longest continuous flight ever by a woman in space. On Artemis II, Christina led major science and observation tasks, making vital contributions to future missions and the advance of human knowledge. Christina tells young people, do what scares you. It's an interesting statement. I don't know about that, Christina. But that's the attitude that you have to have. You want to do this. And that is the attitude that she has, and I think that everybody standing behind me has, frankly. The further she went, the stronger she got. She was really amazing, they say, on the trip. She was just amazing. So, Christina, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Great job. And finally, we honor a master of science and physics, a fighter pilot, a great one, and a beloved member of the astronaut team, mission specialist, Jeremy Hansen. On Artemis II, Jeremy became the first non-American in history to travel beyond low Earth orbit. He documented lunar terrain while contributing enormously to space science and physics research. And along with Christina, he helped the crew stay healthy and develop standards and best practices. Jeremy, thank you very much. Great job. Great job. So with unmatched bravery and unwavering faith, these 4 extraordinary astronauts renewed the legacy of the pioneers and explorers who charted the world's oceans, climbed its highest summits, and tamed the American West. Great people, great men and women, incredible. That spirit is written into the soul of our nation, and in the daring deeds of these heroes, we're reminded that for America, no aim is too high, no journey is too far, no challenge is too tough. In this country, we're limited only by the size of our aspirations and the scale of our dreams. We have the American dream, and the American dream is back. I think the American dream is back, stronger than ever before. We're doing great. This country is doing great right now. Never did anything like it. 81 stock market highs in 1.5 years, never been anything like it, including they broke it again yesterday for the 81st time. And $19.2 trillion is being invested in our country.
So again, President Trump is there. He is giving the Artemis II astronauts Congressional Medals of Honor for what they did there. You heard him talking a lot about the mission. He is also talking a lot about other things within his administration. He will be doing that for quite some time in Florida. It's one thing that we'll be dipping in and out of now until 2 p.m. Here in Philadelphia, there are people that are really concerned about what is happening in Nepal. You might have seen the video. A dam broke. The flooding is outrageous. It's very scary. And that is the story that our Dylan Scott is on. Dylan, you've been talking to local people that have ties or are somehow trying to help the people in Nepal.
Yeah, absolutely, Jen. Good afternoon. And really, it goes to show you what a small world we really live in, right? I mean, here in Philadelphia, thousands and thousands of miles away from where that tragedy struck at the Nepal-Tibet border, people are feeling it here. I mean, and ultimately, places behind me here, like the Nepali Momo Kitchen, people are connected, so connected to what's happening all those distances away and figuring out, again, what they can do. Our story today will involve going into this restaurant. We're going to speak to the owners. We're going to speak to some patrons here, speak about that connection so many people are feeling right now. We know that inside they're talking about doing a fundraiser, a GoFundMe page, in collaboration with some other restaurants such as Sea Moon as well. There'll be a candlelight vigil on Sunday night at 7:30. Those details are still getting ironed out. So many people here in this community figuring out what they see on TV and what they could do back here. I mean, we already know more than 500 people have lost their lives in that catastrophic flooding. More than 900 people are unaccounted for. I spoke to people in several different stores and restaurants today. A lot of people are calling the embassies. They're reaching out to family and friends. They're still trying to connect with people. I mean, absolutely scary and staggering what we've seen. So everybody here in Philadelphia really doing what they can, trying to come together. I know between the students at Temple and UPenn tonight, they're doing something as well. That information is Clark Park, 7 o'clock. They're going to be holding a vigil there tonight as well, and also asking for donations. Right now, we called again the embassy in Washington, D.C., and also in New York. They're saying if financially, if you would like to help right now, the Prime Minister's Disaster Relief Fund, the Nepal Red Cross Society, the World Food Kitchen, all among those agencies doing work at the Tibet border right now in the Himalayas between Nepal and China. So everyone really trying to do what they can amidst those great tragedies that happened Wednesday and trying to figure out where to go next, Jen.
All right. Thank you so much, Dylan. We appreciate it. I know a lot of people are just, trying to do whatever they can. Again, we appreciate the help there. There is still a lot happening live. I'm going to bring you a quad box. There you see Wildwood. The weather does not look good there. This is one of the last big weekends of summer. We have this weekend and then Labor Day. A lot of people were hoping that the weather down there would look better. Drew Anderson will join us within the hour to talk to us about the rest of the weekend. On the top right-hand side, that's the judge in Las Vegas, and she's talking to the prosecution and the defense in the Tupac Shakur murder case. Remember, Tupac was killed in 1996, so decades old, and now Dwayne Keefe D. Davis is on trial. He's accused by prosecutors of buying the weapon and ordering the hit on Tupac Shakur. Below that, that is a courtroom in Massachusetts. That is where jurors are deliberating in the Lindsay Clancy murder trial. And of course, we were just watching this. President Trump, he's there. He's issuing the Congressional Medal of Honor to astronauts from Artemis 2. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break and be right back. Welcome back, everybody. This is Philadelphia Live. We're going to be with you guys until 2 p.m. and we have live cameras all over the country. You're right. I said all over the country. We're going to begin top left-hand side in Atlantic City. The weather there does not look good. Again, it is the second to the last unofficial summer weekend. We know that summer officially goes into September, but I can imagine many people who are either traveling to the shore are wishing that the camera looked a little bit better in Atlantic City like it does in Cape May. Cape May is on your right-hand side. The bad news is the weather is going to come through this area. The good news is it is going to come through, and Drew Anderson and the Fox 29 Weather Department says the bulk of the weekend will be picture perfect. The weather will be hotter than it's been, but it will be better than that, better than what we're seeing right there in Atlantic City. And then right now on the top right-hand side, that is a courtroom in Las Vegas. That is a defense team member for Dwayne Keefe D. Davis. That's the guy who is being charged with murder of Tupac Shakur 30 years after he died in 1996. That's the judge in the case. The judge, the prosecution, and the defense teams all talking about what instructions the jury should be given, how it should be delivered, and how they will deliberate this case. Remember, prosecution says that they believe that he is the trigger man in this case. Also, we have another courtroom below. You do see that's the Lindsay Clancy trial. President Trump there. And right here back in Philadelphia, there was a deadly hit and run. No one's been identified. We're going to go to the press conference now.
Just to have a very candid conversation about an incident that occurred on Thursday, August 27th at approximately 1:45 a.m. It was a fatal auto versus pedestrian crash that occurred at the 5500 block of Rising Sun Avenue. First, I want to start out by identifying that there are two components to this. There is that are running concurrently: a crash investigation and an internal affairs investigation. You'll hear why in a few minutes. And also, just so we'll go through the steps of laying out why we are standing here for a crash investigation, even though it's a fatal. Normally, these are the type of incidents that are handled by Crash Investigation Division. But there's a component of this that is very important that we discuss as leadership of the organization. Let me start by saying that often you see us up here and we're praising our officers. Our officers do a phenomenal job each and every day with what they are doing to provide service to communities across this city. But unfortunately, this is one of those days that we're standing here at the opposite end of the spectrum. And again, I'll explain why. Taking you back to this incident that occurred on yesterday at approximately 8:30 a.m., our Crash Investigation Division was notified by the medical examiner's office that they had an individual, a victim that was pronounced a few hours before at 6:15 a.m. And they called Crash Investigation because this person would succumb to injuries that they sustained during that incident that I started out by talking about up on Rising Sun Avenue. Their purpose of reaching out, the medical examiner reaching out to Crash Investigation, is to, one, ensure that notification is made, whether it be to the family, but also to grab any information, retrieve any information from Crash Investigation that may help them as a part of their examination as it relates to how this person sustained the injuries that ultimately caused them to pass away. At that point in time, Crash Investigation was able to determine that they had no information regarding this incident. So ultimately, Crash Investigation had to begin their process, but working backwards, which would take them back out to the location of the 5500 block of Rising Sun Avenue, knowing that there was an incident that led to medics being out at that location, ultimately who transported the victim to the hospital. As a part of their investigative process, Crash Investigations began to retrieve video from some of the businesses out there, as well as video from a city camera. They were able to determine that going back to approximately 1:40 a.m. on Thursday morning, the 27th, that there was a male walking down the street on Rising Sun Avenue in the bike lane. The male was walking with an unsteady gait down that bike lane area. There is a 35th District officer that is driving down the street and observes this. Based upon what we see in the video, the officer moves over to speak with this individual. The officer has some interaction with this male through the vehicle. In terms of the male's walking, the officer is still inside of his car. At some point, this male, walking again with an unsteady gait, falls to the ground. When he falls to the ground in the bike lane area. The officer immediately pulls his car in front of him. The officer exits his vehicle and begins to engage the male in conversation. Based upon the video, it appears that the officer is having some dialogue with this male. The male at this point in time is laying out in the bike lane, partially into the running lane, but mainly in the bike lane. At some point during that encounter, the officer goes back to his vehicle, and the officer leaves that location with the victim still observed in the video laying in the street. At some point in this video, you see there is a citizen that walks over to the victim that's laying in the street and has some type of encounter with him in terms of verbal exchange. We can see that from the video. At that point in time, the citizen walks back away from the victim that's still laying in the street. Again, the male is laying in the bike lane, partially into the running lane. It's within a few moments later, you see traffic, vehicular traffic beginning to proceed in that direction. And you see the first car stop, maybe observing that there's something in the street. The vehicle that's behind that first car goes around that first vehicle, ultimately driving into the bike lane and driving over that male victim. That vehicle continues to drive without stopping. And so the part of the crash investigation is that we're looking for that vehicle. Based on the video that has been retrieved, we're looking for a 2023 to 2026 green Kia Sportage X-Line series with black and chrome rims that was last observed turning eastbound on Tabor Avenue from that location. And so that's the crash investigation. We want to see, that individual that's operating that vehicle. Crash investigation wants to talk to that person. We're actively looking for that vehicle, actively looking for the person that was operating that vehicle, and also looking for any witnesses that were out there at that time of this incident. We need to speak to those individuals. And so that's the very active component of the crash investigation. Based upon what I explained to you in that moment of the male being struck by the vehicle and the vehicle continuing on, the first citizen that's out there, presumably he sees this, he now comes back over. That citizen, along with another citizen, they begin to move the victim out of the street area. They slide him over to the curb line and begin to make phone calls to 911. The same officer that encountered this male some minutes before is now the first arriving officer. Based on what we know at this point in time, the officer does not make any police report. At that point, the officer is awaiting medic arrival. That victim is transported from by medic to the hospital, and again, he is pronounced at approximately 6:15 a.m. So we're standing here as it relates to the overall incident because what we can see on the video doesn't fall in line with our practices as a police department. Very troubling to see that there is an officer that responds to this location and fails to render any type of aid to the individual prior to that individual being struck by the vehicle, being run over by that vehicle, driven over by that vehicle, and that's troubling for us. Goes against everything that we stand for. We talk about empathy, we talk about compassion as an organization, and none of those things were on display. And that's a troubling piece for us from the very beginning of this incident, to know that an officer responded to this location or somehow encountered this male, whether the male was impaired, whether the male was suffering from a medical condition. None of those things were checked, and just a failure to render any type of aid to an individual that is in the street. Very troubling, very disturbing, and to be quite blunt about it, extremely disappointing. Extremely disappointing because we would know that that male would ultimately be driven over by a car and lose his life. The second piece to that is that same officer then responds to that location after the 911 calls come in, knowing that this individual had been struck, driven over by a car, and still doesn't render aid when arriving, and to then not do any component of his responsibility to render aid, nothing as far as his responsibility to do any paperwork on this, conduct an investigation, hold the scene, none of those type of things. And so very disturbing to see that being done, and to know that we have a member of this organization that acted in that manner and failed to act in a way of what we stand for. It goes against everything that's the core values of our organization in terms of honor, integrity, and service. And again, very disappointing more than anything to know that a member of our department failed to take action that ultimately could have been a situation where this male could have potentially been on the sidewalk and not, have to be hit by a vehicle. Right now, that officer has been removed from street duty. That officer is in administrative status. And so as the internal affairs investigation will take its course, running concurrently with the CID investigation. But I felt it was important talking with Commissioner Bethel and the executive team. We talk about transparency as an organization, and we get it right 99% of the times. There are times where we get it wrong, and this is one of those times, and it's really important, I think, to each of us, not just as leadership of this organization, but personally, to stand in front of you and tell you when we got it wrong. And this is one of those times. Again, it's disappointing. It's embarrassing, to be very honest. But this is what we must do in order to continue to gain the respect, the trust, and that legitimacy with citizens in this city and people across this town. And so we're here. That's where we are. We wanted you to hear it from us. not by way of some leaked video or someone else notifying you. We wanted to tell you what we have, and that's where we're at this point. And so I will open up for any questions that you all may have.
Can you tell us anything about the officer, his identity, how long he's been on the force, anything about it?
So the officer is a 35th district officer. He has 2 years on the force. And as I said, at this point, he is placed in administrative status. Yes. So, listen, I mean, as you heard me kind of go through, there's a number of policy violations just at the surface level. Internal Affairs will do their investigation and determine specifically, you know, in terms of what was not done. However, the empathy, the compassion, that's about being a human being. Yeah, our department policy is that you are supposed to render aid, but this just comes down to duty to protect and all of those things. But it comes down to who you are as a person. And again, it's troubling to just know, just move the person out the street and find out what's going on. And I think that's the part that bothers me the most. I know it's the part of bothers us. We had conversation about this, and it's just that empathy, that humanity, compassion, lacking in every aspect in this incident. And that's troubling for us. We wear this patch, honor, integrity, and service. And unfortunately, we don't feel that that was done that day, and that it feels like some part of what we stand for as an organization was broken. And that's the piece that we have to identify. We've identified it, we see it, and we have to take some corrective action. That's a part of what Internal Affairs now is trying to determine whether or not the body-worn camera was activated by the officer. And of course, if it was, that will be a part of the investigation. If it was not, that will also be a part of the investigation as to whether or not that was a violation of policy, which it would have been if it was not activated. So there's a criminal component of the crash investigation, and hence the reason that I started out by saying there's two different components of that. This is a leaving the scene crash investigation that turned fatal, and so that in itself is a criminal investigation. As far as the Internal Affairs investigation, we will go through the process there, and we'll see where that goes. I don't want to get into the potentials of what could happen. That would be really presumptuous of me to do that and unfair to the officer that's involved in this situation. We have a due diligence to still do a thorough investigation. Even based upon what I'm telling you, it's troubling to us, but at the end of the day, that officer still has the right to have legal counsel, still has the right to go through due process, still has the right to go through an Internal Affairs process, and then we will see where that ends. So we do not have, we have the name of the victim in terms of the victim has been identified as a 48-year-old black male. Unfortunately, we have not been able to make contact with his family, and so we are in the process of trying to make contact with a loved one to inform them of this tragic incident. All right. Again, thank you for coming out and hearing us into this this incident. We will update you as there's more developments as it relates to the crash investigation as they go through their process of either locating the car and or locating the operator. But again, we would ask if there's anybody that has any information regarding the vehicle, regarding the operator, or even the witnesses, the citizens that I identified that assisted this victim during this incident. We need you to come forward. We need to hear from you and allow our investigators an opportunity to talk with you. Yes, ma'am.
The 55 River Block, but can you be more specific? Because we were there before this press conference and trying to look at surveillance video of no block, and we're just curious. Can you be more specific as to where?
Yes, Rising Sun and Alany. Yes. All right. All right. Thank you so much.
All right, again, they were talking about an incident, you heard it, where there now are two different investigations. There's an Internal Affairs investigation. An officer from the 35th District, a 2-year veteran, has now been placed on administrative leave. They're telling us that's because he did see this hit and run, and he did not stop to render aid. There's video. The police department said they wanted to get ahead of it. At the same time, there's also a criminal investigation because this hit and run was deadly. Jill Croce is on that story. We're going to be hearing from her throughout the day. Weather is also a big story. Drew Anderson has been talking about the fact that we are going to see different conditions throughout the day. Humid with some storms right here, sunny for the rest of the weekend. We have live cameras across the region, most of them shore locations, because again, it is the second to the last summer weekend. Next weekend counts, even though officially summer goes into September. We're going to be back in just 2 minutes. Sometimes what we do is we take a look at what you guys are searching. What are you looking for on the internet? And we want to talk to you a little bit about it. What is trending? What are you interested in? Yesterday, Netflix dropped a GTA Grand Theft Auto 6 kind of trailer because there is a new game after a very long hiatus. Tony Rowe is an associate teaching professor of game design and production. Hello, Tony.
Hello there.
Okay, so I have kids. I remember telling my kids who were young when the last time we had one of these, you're not allowed to play that without someone being there because, you know, there's police, there's violence, there's all this stuff. How long has it been since we've had a Grand Theft Auto release?
Well, it's been since my daughter was born, almost the same time, and she's about to turn a teenager, so 13 years.
I'm assuming the gaming community is very excited for this release.
Certainly, it's been a buzz, and if you want a news story to add attention, adding the release of Grand Theft Auto 6 is always good to do. And there's been a lot of buzz around this. 13 years of expectation and guessing and wondering what will be in the game can certainly do it.
We see some video of the trailer. There's a dude smoking. There's helicopters. In 13 years, they make it look a heck of a lot more realistic.
Yeah, and I think one thing is bigger and bigger and bigger. One of the last Rockstar games would be Red Dead Redemption 2, which had this big, vast wilderness. It was a Western game, so set in the open frontier. And this game promises to be even bigger than that. Multiple cities set in a fictional Florida. It should be a huge area to explore.
And so we saw that like Fortnite was really popular, again, because gamers could explore. You'd go to different worlds, you'd pack up your stuff, you'd do different things. It's a completely different mindset than when you play like NBA 2K or you play Madden games. the difference here is that you're exploring and you feel like you're winning a mission, maybe?
Certainly. There'll be a very big story based on this. Unlike, say, a lot of multiplayer style games, this game actually promises to be a love story. It's a Bonnie and Clyde sort of romance in a gun-filled, violence-fueled criminal world, if you will.
So wait, if you're Bonnie and Clyde, do you have a buddy? Is it can I game with my friends?
I'm not sure how much the online element will come into it.
Okay.
With the last release, with Grand Theft Auto 5, they brought out a separate Grand Theft Auto Online, and that became this whole other world of playing with others that was in the same world, but sort of separate also.
In the world of gaming, we now know, obviously, you're teaching it at the college level. We know kids are getting scholarships for esports. Typically, how it's evolved in the past 13 years is there needs to be a win. There needs to be success. Someone is the best at it. How can you be the best at this?
Well, I'm not sure how much esports will enter into it.
Okay.
I'm not for this particular
fun.
type of game, but it might come out to be.
This is just for fun. This is just a mission. This is just exploration.
It's a lot to do. It's an open world to explore. It's characters to encounter, and lots of different fun vehicles to mess around with and take over and drive or fly. Because you'll be doing more than driving in this game, I understand.
Okay, so it will be officially released in November. So this is just basically the hype video for the whole thing.
Yeah, it's the first look, official look, I should say, that they've released in a while.
Are you surprised they released it on Netflix?
It's interesting, but you have to get a tie-in with somebody to take advantage of this, I guess, make the best of it. And I'm sure Netflix was willing to support them in any way they felt necessary.
Awesome. Tony Rowe, Associate Teaching Professor of Game Design and Production. Are you at Drexel?
Drexel University, that's right.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, we're going to go back to some of our live cameras because certainly there are some of them happening. We're talking about the weather because depending on where you are, it looks different. You can see Ultimate Doppler there. I will be honest, I don't like it when there's bright colors. Why? That means that there is weather which can be severe moving through the area. The good news here, as we look at this the last few hours, it is moving towards the shore. Drew Anderson talked about the fact that as it moves through the area, it will move down the shore and then into the ocean. And for the bulk of the weekend, we won't have to deal with it. We're going to take you around to a couple of our different weather cameras. We're going to begin top left, Ocean City, New Jersey. You can tell it must have been raining there recently because no one's out on the beach right now. Rehoboth is on the right-hand side on the top. And again, the streets look wet. It does not look like anyone is outside. Below that, wow, if you were watching earlier, bottom right-hand side, that's Cape May Beach. And about, I don't even know, 45 minutes ago, it still looked gorgeous. As you can see through here, it is raining, it is yucky. Again, this is Cape May. Finally, we're going to give you a look at Atlantic City. You know what? That's the president. That's Atlantic City right there. But again, the good news in all of this, that's already sunny over there. That's good, right? Ocean City looks a little better just in the 2 seconds. And the city looks good. About an hour ago, it did not look this good. Drew Anderson will join us at some point during this hour. And he has said for the bulk of the weekend, for your Saturday, for your Sunday, the weather is going to be good for you. The problem is right now, if it's your getaway time, if you're driving down the shore, or if you had the afternoon off to spend with family or friends, in many places it just does not look good. It bears repeating. This is the second to the last weekend of unofficial summer. By that I mean next weekend is Labor Day. After Labor Day, the bulk of the kids are going to be back in school. The routines change and kind of the mood at most people's homes changes, meaning you have to eat dinner, you have to make dinner, do the laundry, and get everything done. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break and be right back. We're showing you Skyfox live. Skyfox is looking for a boat crash. We're told there was a boat crash in the Schuylkill River. It's a bit jumpy because this is the nature of live television. Again, Skyfox, which is our news helicopter, is over the Schuylkill River. At one point, it was zoomed in on a boat. I'm not really sure if that was the boat crash that it was looking for. The weather looks good. We're still trying to figure out exactly what's happening. But again, Schuylkill River, we're told there is a boat crash, and Skyfox, I wonder if that looks like a boat that is very close to the wall. Typically they wouldn't be that close to the wall. It says on there, it does appear to be a private boat, so it'd be interesting to see what exactly is happening. Skyfox will be there for just a few minutes, so we're going to continue to kind of check out exactly what's happening. I wonder if the people on that boat had an issue and tried to get onto that, I'm going to call it a landing. I don't even know what it is, because you really don't see people on that boat. It's Catherine Ann Casey. Looks like that's the name of this boat. Is there someone there? There may be. Was that a person? Looks like, nope. We're watching this right along with you guys. It's one of the things that we do every day. Again, this is in Philadelphia. Skyfox is showing us these live images. This is a boat that is in the Schuylkill River, and we're told that the boat has crashed. At this point, it doesn't look like the boat is taking on water. The question is, are there people that got off of the boat and kind of went to that landing? We're going to keep our eyes on that as we go to Jill Croce, because Jill was at that press conference that we were just covering. Remember, a member of the police department was there saying that there is a guy from the 35th district that's now under investigation by Internal Affairs. Good afternoon, Jill.
Good afternoon, Jen. There's a lot to unpack. We just got out of this meeting at police headquarters. I have my notes here, so I'll take you through it. It's really a twofold, this press conference was. You have the crash investigation, which was a hit and run. Then you have an internal affairs investigation involving one of the police department's very own. They're usually praising officers, is what they're saying, but today that was not the case for how things were handled Thursday morning. After 1 a.m., and this was Thursday, a man was walking down a bike lane on the 5500 block of Rising Sun Avenue, walking strangely enough to get an officer's attention in that bike lane. At some point during the encounter, the officer leaves the man in the street where he saw him. This time, at one point, the man was lying down because the man fell in his presence, but the officer, like we said, left the scene even with this man in the bike lane laying down. Then you had one vehicle slow down early that morning and stops because they see somebody in this bike lane that's kind of in part of the travel lane as well. But then you had a second vehicle that went around this first vehicle and goes over that man. So that's the hit and run situation. They're still looking for that second vehicle that went around through the bike lane and hit the man. It's described as a 2023 to 2026 Kia Sportage X-Line jungle green color, so keep your eyes on that. Any eyewitnesses, any businesses there, look out for that in your surveillance. The team there at the department said this is not their practice as a police department. They're disappointed, said that there's no compassion by the officer responding. They said that the officer has been removed from street duty as this internal investigation continues and is underway. They didn't say a name of the officer. They said, though, he's with the 35th district and 2 years on the job there. Internal Affairs needs to find out why, Internal Affairs needs to find out whether the body-worn camera was activated or not. So that's even still under investigation. But the criminal component of this whole press conference is the crash, the hit and run itself. They won't say what could happen to the officer. They want that investigation to go through all the proper channels. They said the man hit was a 48-year-old black male. That was the man on the street. Family still being notified, so they won't say much beyond that, imagine, throughout today. This is still a developing story. Then that officer, just to go back to the officer, so he responded when the guy was hit, but didn't render aid, didn't operate according to protocol. So this officer saw this man twice when he was acting strangely in the bike lane, just walking strangely, and then after calls for the hit and run came through, still didn't render aid at that time or operate according to protocol. Again, that vehicle description for the hit and run, Jen, 2023-2026 Kia Sportage X-Line, color is jungle green. So a lot to unpack tonight. We're going to head that way now. We were trying to speak with businesses, trying to look at surveillance. No luck yet, but if more comes through, you'll be the first to know, Jen.
Thank you. And they are looking for the vehicle, and they do want people who saw anything or heard anything to check in with them, right?
Yes, of course, yes.
Okay, all right. We're going to go back to Sky Fox because I think Sky Fox and the team there is still looking for a boat accident in the Schuylkill River. One of the things that we do during the show is we bring you live events, what's happening. It's tough to tell if they're having difficulty finding the, here we go, we're going to zoom in again. Tough to tell if the boat that we did see that looked like it was kind of up against a landing was the boat that they were looking for, or if it's something else. You know what? Typically when we see that video, it means they're going to another scene. The Tupac Shakur trial still happening in Las Vegas. We're still on verdict watch in the Lindsay Clancy trial. So here you see the defense and the prosecution talking together with the judge in the Tupac Shakur case. We're just going to listen in briefly.
Because I stole these instructions from ones you made me do last time. So I'm like, I'm not even going to fight this time. The ability of a witness should be determined by his manner upon the stand. Is really
Okay, so while he's working on that, the state has proposed the verdict instructions, so the verdict form, so I assume they have no objection to it. Ms. Panic, any objection to the form?
So again, this is the judge in the Tupac Shakur case. Tupac Shakur was killed in 1996, 30 years ago, and now his murder case is finally happening. Now, the guy that is on trial for this, he's in his 60s. His name is Dwayne Keefe D. Davis. He's not accused of pulling the trigger. He is standing murder, and the prosecutors say that he bought the weapon and he ordered the hit because of an altercation that happened with his nephew earlier in the evening of the evening that Tupac Shakur was murdered. Remember, Tupac Shakur was in a car with Suge Knight. At that time, they were hip-hop royalty. Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, who is the person who's on trial for all of this, also very popular at that time, says that he was a member of a gang, and he has said that he was inside the car when all this happened, but he does not say that he is guilty or responsible for murder. What they're doing there is they're giving back and forth the prosecution and the defense information for the judge before the judge gives the jury her instructions. Similarly, in the case of Lindsay Clancy, which has been happening in Plymouth, Massachusetts for the past 5 or 6 weeks, that's the courthouse there. Yesterday, the judge gave the jury, in this case, his instructions because they are now deliberating. 6 hours or 7 hours is about the total time that they've had the case. And they could hand out any of 4 different verdicts in this case. Remember, she is the mom who says that she did kill her 3 children. Her defense team does not believe that she should be held criminally responsible. The defense says that she was suffering postpartum psychosis. There were more than 80 witnesses that took the stand, many of them medical professionals, talking about the medical aid that she was searching for, medical aid that she was given, and everything in between. You should know that in that jury, 9 women, 3 men, and again, more than 80 witnesses. So it will be interesting to see when that jury can hand down a verdict. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break and come right back. There's still a lot happening today. All right, we are showing you a live picture of Las Vegas. Why the defense in the Dwayne Keefe D. Davis trial has rested. This is the case about Tupac Shakur, murdered in 1996, 30 years ago. We're learning now that we will hear closing arguments in this case on Monday. Again, the defense has rested, and we will hear closing arguments in that case on Monday. A case, again, that is 30 years old. Another piece of news that we want to share with you that we're just getting comes out of New Jersey. Governor Mikey Sherrill today has signed legislation giving restaurants, bars, and other eligible businesses more flexibility to sell and deliver alcoholic beverages for off-premises consumption. We're showing you a live picture of Wildwood because, again, what this does, it basically talks about to-go alcohol. It was a policy that was first enacted during the COVID-19 pandemic, allowing certain retail consumption licenses to sell mixed cocktails in closed containers, sealed, and then people could take them to go. So it looks like Mikey Sherrill is saying that that can happen once again. She says she's doing it for small businesses. She says they shouldn't, this is her words, they shouldn't have to navigate outdated rules just to serve customers and grow. Cocktails to go work, the governor says. People liked it, and she said it's another way to bring in revenue. So again, Governor Mikey Sherrill of New Jersey making that permanent. It will be interesting to see if her governors that are neighbors in Pennsylvania, New York, Delaware do the same thing, because a lot of people are thinking about having fun and celebrating on the weekend. We're now going to talk about something that happens right here in Philadelphia. Unfortunately, it's the last one of the summer. I'm talking about Fourth Friday, but you still have the opportunity to take part in it. We're going to go live to South Street and Mary Harvey. Good afternoon to you, Mary.
Hi, good afternoon.
So
it might be the last Fourth Friday of the summer, but it is not the last Fourth Friday of the year.
Oh, that's
Fourth
good.
Friday, no, but it is the last one of the summer. We're coming to a bit of a close of the summer, but Fourth Friday, it's kind of like a lot of people remember First Fridays in Old City. Fourth Friday started here on 4th Street, where my store, Urban Princess, is, as just a way to kind of do a progressive shopping and dining situation. And now, that was a few years back, but now there's so many more shops, so many more artists have set up shop here, and so many more on and around South Street. So it has expanded to include the South Street area. So I know Bridget Foy has specials. I know Crybaby always has a nice after party. This Fourth Friday happens to fall on the full moon, which means our secret garden opens up. We have a secret garden that only opens up on the full moon. It's kind of a speakeasy where we have cocktails and whatnot, but only on the full moon. So that's what we're doing here at Urban Princess for Fourth Friday. I know Stitch and Destroy, just a block away, is having a big art exhibit. I know 3rd Street Gallery is, I believe they often team up with Bridget Foy and other restaurants and have some munchies, and they have an art opening. I know Fits on 4th has something special. Sweet Peel Vintage has something special. There's a good, I would say there's over 20 businesses who all have whatever they're doing. Everyone's on their best behavior. So we're throwing a little bonfire party in the backyard. In the secret garden. And we do 20% off the entire store every Fourth Friday. I know a lot of businesses also do a big discount. So it's really the best time to get down and discover what's really happening down here in the South Street area and on 4th Street.
Mary Harvey, you did a great job. You could actually do my job. So quit being so good at talking on camera. We appreciate the help.
I realized I was yelping. I'm like, oh, they're going to just cut me off or the music is going to come on.
Nope, you did great.
But thank
Mary
you.
Harvey. Thank you. Have a great Fourth Friday.
Thank you. Come play down here one day.
Okay,
See you soon.
absolutely. Okay, bye, babe. The question is, what will the weather be like for this Fourth Friday? We have Drew up on a deck. Drew on a deck.
You like it?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Just showing you the clouds. We're cloud watching, Jen. You know, I always look at the skies because you can read a lot from the skies. Beautiful blue skies right there. But I was looking, see how that cloud right there is a little more gray? When clouds get more gray, that means they're starting to fill up with water droplets. And when they get a lot of water droplets, guess where they come? Down they come. So I am live just on the top of where I park right here. I'm at this hotel and I'm shocked there's no one in the pool. It's so humid. Give me a pool, please. I'm feeling some back sweat right now. Dress clothes on a humid day, they do not mix. How bad's my back sweat? Let me know. All right, good. It's not showing through the shirt right there.
No.
So the humidity is really high. Oh, Jen, by the way, you'll be happy to hear, I did get my own water. I went into, when I was in Wilmington, the Delaware Children's Museum, got my own big boy water, sucked it down, ice and cold, cooled off. I was just saying, if you weren't with us at the top
Drew
of
was stealing
Philadelphia
water
Live.
from 5-year-olds.
I did, for real. Oh, I think he was 2. It's even worse, Jen. I think it was a 2-year-old. Once he got that water back, did you see that death grip on his water bottle? He was not letting his little sippy bottle go at all. And I only got a couple little drips to come out of there because that's the whole idea, so that they don't leak when, the young kids knock it over. Well, anyway, I was building up all this humidity in the air because it has been coming down real good in parts of our area. Now, for most of our area, it's blue skies and it's dry. But I want to take you down the shore. Yesterday, down the shore, it was an easy day. Today, that's not the case. On Ullman Doppler radar, we are tracking some heavy rain, and it has been coming down since I was last lit with you right here on Philadelphia Live. Now, look at all of that has just lit up Ultimate Doppler radar, and we'll take a closer look at this. And this is the loop over the last 3 hours. So the heavy rain starting to leave Cumberland County. It's still over parts of Atlantic County, rolling into parts of Burlington County and Ocean County. And some of the heavy rain has just departed Cape May County, but it's still pretty wet in Cape May County. Take a look at this. We got more flash flood warnings because we got 1 inch to 2 inches to 3 inches of rain across Atlantic County when that heavy rain was coming down. So in Atlantic County, we have a flash flood warning until 5 p.m. We also have one in Sussex County, Delaware, so that includes Lewis and Rehoboth Beach and Dewey Beach and Bethany, just to name a few. It's almost like I always went down to the Delaware Beachers growing up. I know a beach or two down there. Well, anyway, we have that flash flood warning until 5:15 p.m. These storms have had a lot of lightning with them down the shore. They've been rocking some shore houses. But a couple things I want you to notice. Notice how the lightning strikes are in clusters and how those lightning strike clusters are mainly now going off the shore. So what we have down the shore and in Cumberland County and Burlington County and Atlantic County and Cape May County, it is moving slowly, but it's moving off the shore, off the beach. It'll end up being a nice afternoon down there. Just give it a couple hours. Future clouds and future radar was picking up on this when we were last talking. So 2 o'clock, it's still got the rain over parts of Atlantic County and Ocean County, like it will be, because it's going to take another hour to leave those spots. But notice that as we head toward dinner time, much better down the shore. You can eat outside and not worry about it. There will be a pop-up shower or storm for a few spots this afternoon, and anything that pops up certainly could have some heavy rain just because it's humid. And we were looking at some of those darker clouds in Philadelphia, so they're starting to fill up with some water droplets. The reason the clouds get dark, by the way, is because water droplets do a really good job of blocking out sunlight. But the weekend is looking phenomenal. Dry weather across the board, both Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures, by the way, will be in the mid-80s with all that sunshine. Humidity, it's there, but not as bad as today. Well, that's a check of the forecast, Jen. I need to come back in the building because, look, my water bottle's empty. I'm a thirsty, sweaty boy. Yep. I need some cold water.
Yep. And you should put some of that, electrolyte powder in there, the sugar-free kind, so it doesn't freak you out.
Oh, yeah. You know, I keep that in my glove box. I actually always keep the electrolyte stuff in my glove box because you never know when you need a little energy.
Yes. Happy Friday.
You too. Have a good weekend.
Okay, you too. Friday is game day, preseason game day. The Eagles are playing. They're going to play right there at the Link. We don't have to call it Philadelphia Stadium anymore. Tom Loudon, who is about 17th on our sports list, is going to join us in 2 minutes. Well, you got Scott, then you got Breland, you got the producer Marcus, and you. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Lincoln Financial Field, and tonight your Eagles will play a game. Tom Loudon is here. He is, again, 17th on the list.
Moving up.
I forgot about Jason Martinez.
Yes.
Jamie Apodi.
Yep.
Devin Caney, even when she's in
She
Chicago.
doesn't even work here anymore.
When
She's
she's in
above me on the
Chicago.
Kristen Rogers.
Kristen Rogers.
Been gone for about 5 years.
Keith Russell. Bill Vargas.
Yeah.
Me.
Bill Perry, Carl Churkin for those old timers out there like me.
Tom Shredcheck, who retired.
Shredder.
Okay.
There we go.
Here's,
Show's over.
Here's what's going to happen tonight. This is the last time where we really get to see these guys in action before the 53-person roster.
53-man roster has to be done by 6 o'clock on Sunday. Now, let's be honest. The Eagles don't play anybody in the preseason. Now, they might be able to see Mekhi Lemon a little bit tonight for the first time. He's missed.
We have not seen him.
And that's very important. You know, he's a first-round pick. They need him to be part of what they're doing. Their second-round pick, Eli Sowers, the tight end, third-round pick, is not playing well, and he's hurt. So he may not see the field at all, which is a disappointment. You need those guys to contribute. So Mekhi Lemon's a big thing to watch tonight. The backup quarterback battle is a big thing to watch tonight.
We have 3 backup quarterbacks.
You got Andy Dalton. You got your Tanner McKee.
Yep.
And then you got the rookie Cole Payton out of North Dakota State. Now, the thing is, we'd probably like to develop Cole. Now, can you get him through waivers, get him to the practice squad? That's a question. And then out of Andy and Tanner, Andy has not played well, although he started the first couple of preseason games. Tanner has been here for a while. Is on the last year of his deal. They probably won't re-sign him, so are they looking to move on from him? Howie usually makes trades in August. He hasn't yet. Expect Howie to be active the next 2 days. We'll see.
I thought that they were playing Tanner because they wanted other teams to see how well he's doing, and maybe he's someone they could trade.
Maybe, but then you also, if you trade Tanner, then you have Andy as your backup, and Andy hasn't looked that great. But let's be honest, if Jalen goes down, it really doesn't matter anyway.
Really?
I know, Nick Foles, we won that, I know.
2017.
And Nick Foles is a different level of a backup quarterback than we have right now.
But Andy Dalton sometimes surprises people when he's with other teams.
Andy has had a nice career. Andy's also, he's about 18 years into his career if I'm 18 on this list. He's been around a minute.
And whatever.
Don't be anti-redhead. I know where you're going with that. Andy seems like a good enough guy who's a good player for a long time, but, I know what you were thinking.
All right, and then what about our guys? Uar is one of them, the international players.
Well, that's interesting because how many of those guys, they have some interesting guys that they'd like to develop that may not be an impact this year, but how many of those guys can you keep? Uar Bernard is, got all the play from being drafted. Mm-hmm. Josh Weru, who's also, I believe, from Kenya, had a sack last week against the Patriots, looks legitimate.
He's coachable.
You may not get him through waivers. Somebody else may pick him up. So what did they do there? We mentioned the fourth-string quarterback, Cole Payton. Do you try to keep him on the roster so you can develop him? So they do have some interesting decisions to make, and you'll know it all by 6 o'clock on Sunday.
So we'll tell people on Monday. So we have less than a minute left. The Eagles are looking good. The Phillies are looking good. The Sixers are going to look good. I think we're going to be a 4 for 4. Oh, you have to mention the Nittany Report.
Yeah, so starting Saturday at 7:30 every week.